Wholeness and welcome. This is Josh DePold of integratingpresence.com. And today I'm back for an Open Wisdom Wednesday. And for those who've never joined this before, let me put the description in the chat here. Apologize, running just a few seconds behind as my internet was spotty. And so I had to restart it. And today, well, let me read this. How's everybody doing? Check in if you'd like. These, if you haven't joined these before, this is called Open Wisdom Wednesdays, and the description I have for this is Irregular Wisdom Office Hours. I ask unplanned, general, and specific questions for your wisdom, and you ask me. In the meantime, we share openly, likely from whatever is currently happening, to get at our wisdom. So just some news here, shameless self-promotion, right? Well, first off, it's in Denmark, and there's a big Easter holiday here. I guess it runs longer than it usually does in the States, multi-day. I don't know all the details on it yet. But for me, I'm leaving here, plan on leaving, flying to London next week, and then I'm approved to stay at Chittavaka, Buddhist monastery for a couple weeks with possibility of getting that extended. Then I'm scheduled to do a retreat online retreat at IMS. So I don't know if I'm going to follow through with that yet or not. It's auditing that course with Joseph Goldstein called The Path to Awakening. So if I don't do that, that's okay too. But then the whole month of June, planning on staying at Amaravati Monastery, and it's closer to London. So both are Theravada Buddhist monasteries in the Thai forest tradition of Ajahn Chah. So I've studied and listened to tons of Dharma talks, so I'm just excited for the opportunity to go there. Anyway, how are you guys all doing today? Today I thought I'd talk about journeying because of, the physical journey of, traveling to a new unknown place. But there's also inner journeys as well. What all have you learned about journeying so far? Now, I know when we traditionally think about inward journeys, we think about meditation and maybe entheogens or sacred plant medicine. I know when I did that a little bit years ago, it can be, my opinions on it's mixed. I'm open-minded. For now, for me, it's way too powerful, way more than I need. I mean, most of the medicine is really powerful. So my advice with that would be, first, do tons and tons of research if you're even interested. But I really feel one should be called, have a calling, and just kind of this inner knowing, not just fooling around, just have to know this is for me, and then even more research. And then looking around for shamans and people who have dedicated their lives to this, so they're no joke. And then you go and ask them questions, right? The ones that are open to, teaching and learning about this, and especially the integration process afterwards. Didn't know about all this when I was just kind of flung in there years ago. So it would have been very helpful had I had known this advice when seeking entheogens. But again, for me, that inward journeying is just, it's too intense. Meditation, I feel, after years and years of practice, can get into those states and way more beneficial states for inward journeys. This is a whole nother topic, not really to go into now, so I'd like specific questions on it, I guess. I mean, how do you guys do inward journeys? What have you learned along the way? What advice would you give other people, seeking to go deeper inwards? Do you use entheogens, plant medicine, special techniques? Is it just regular meditation? How does your intention setting get you further to where you want to go inwardly? How do we explore new territory? And what are some of the challenges, the pitfalls, and how does the integration process go? So for outward journeys, though, I know that the common knowledge is be open and willing to learn new cultures, and being kind and considerate. Really, kindness is really the only rule in life, I feel. All the more better if it's loving kindness, especially to ourselves, obviously, right? Being kind to ourselves, that way it's easier to show kindness to others. The other thing I was thinking about is today, when I was just a few minutes ago walking here to this beautiful little campsite and fire pit that I did I think it was my first one, maybe second one when I got here to Denmark, is the Four Noble Truths. So anyone familiar with Buddhism, we hear these things, the Four Noble Truths. Well, and they're about suffering a lot, right? I mean, that's what we're told, the noble truth of suffering. However, these aren't the four suppositions about suffering, the four theories about suffering, right? These are the Four Noble Truths. So it's the first truth, the second truth, the third truth, the fourth truth, the first noble truth, the second noble truth, the third noble truth, and then so what if, and it's I found in my experience this is really helpful when I focus on this is a truth instead of the suffering as much. I mean, that's part of it, obviously, but when I'm in alignment with truth, it doesn't seem as devastating all the way through. So every single Four Noble Truths is in alignment with truth, and being in alignment with truth and the way things are, it just brings great kind of peace and empowerment for me, knowing that it doesn't really matter if it should be like this or it shouldn't. This is the way it is, and aligning with the truth of the way it is far more beneficial and helpful, and just better all around than getting stuck in this game of positivity and negativity a lot, because truth really isn't positive or negative in and of itself. Now, how it's applied, if it's applied, at the wrong time, without kindness, used for division, these aren't helpful. These type of things aren't helpful when it comes to truth. But truth can also be very liberating. It can cut these cords of bondage. And if we don't know truth, then there's really little opportunity to make any kind of change in our lives, I feel. We're just stumbling around in kind of a dream world or delusion. If we don't even know what needs to be changed, then it seems it would almost be like a random chance or something that anything would happen, although I don't see where anything's really a random chance. So do you guys have anything to say about truth, some wisdom around truth? What frightens you about truth? What calms and soothes about truth? Questions about it? I think I'm just going to sit for a moment in silence here. As you can hear the kids having fun in the background. I don't know, maybe you can't. And birds. How do you all learn about silence and stillness? What have you learned about silence and stillness? I know when I sit and look at a tree and contemplate its stillness, right? It doesn't need to be flashy. They're just there, still. And when wind comes along, it's resilient, it can bend and spring back. But again, the last vestige of stillness for a tree, right, is when it falls over, when it starts rotting, just like this body will rot. So make every moment count, no matter what we're doing, what we're not doing. I was talking with not my coach, but I joined a free seminar and I had the guy on the podcast. He's a speaking coach and he teaches people how to master talk. And it's funny, I'm up here talking when I still stutter quite a bit or do the ums and ahs. And one of the exercises he recommends is picking a random word. Just open the dictionary, point your finger at something, or I don't even know if there's random word generators online or not. And then just start talking about whatever word that is, making it the central focus of this practice of building a talk around a single word out of the blue. And one of the techniques he's noticed and taught other people, and one I'm practicing with, is being comfortable with pauses. So instead of filling in the gaps with one just becomes comfortable with pausing instead of ums and ahs. And the reason behind this, he says, is trying to think and buy time to think about what to say. Well, when I really think about this, and then the other technique is, before we catch ourselves, and go purse one's lips. And the longer I can be comfortable in silence, instead of and ah, it won't be such a big deal when publicly speaking. Taking a few other pauses, a little bit longer pause than would be normal, but not an extremely long pause like when practicing. Well, how about just this simply, where do you guys plan to journey? Inwardly or outwardly? Outward's easy. I think everybody kind of knows different places on the earth where they would like to journey to, or I've heard about or seen or dream about. Where do you want to journey in your dreams? At night, or just the metaphorical kind of lofty goal setting? Are there places in your mind and heart that you would like to journey to? There's an old saying that when we travel alone, we can go quicker, but if we travel together, we can go further. This is a beautiful way to put things in life. And it doesn't necessarily have to be journeying great distances either. It can just be, out your front door, around the block. See all the different changes and challenges right amongst us. Also the beauty and aliveness comes with noticing and observation, and also withdrawing from all that and pulling back where we don't get overwhelmed with sense objects, sensory input, and notice that once these obstructions, these hindrances are out of the way, this kind of natural joyfulness, ease, greater access to our wisdom becomes more apparent, more easily accessible, and we don't really have to do much other than be diligent and heedful in removing these hindrances. And then once wisdom comes in, we kind of have our own inner guidance to know what to attend to and what not to attend to, what is skillful and what's not. I've been working recently just contemplating on, what's skillful. What am I bringing in that's skillful, and what am I putting out that's skillful? What can I get rid of that's not skillful and prevent it from arising again? And the same way internally and externally. So what's skillful and what's not? And use these as kind of a guiding thing for what to pay attention to, actions, thoughts, and speech. And yes, journeying is going to be different for introverts and extroverts. Perhaps introverts will journey more inwardly, more easily than extroverts, and vice versa, right? Well, guys, it's 15 minutes. Wish you all well. The other announcement I wanted to make, too, is that due to technical snafus last time with our meditation Q&A with Wendy Nash I was kind of jerry-rigging it on Insight Timer anyway, getting the speakers to go into the microphone from the streaming platform and then feeding it into Insight Timer, but you can only see me anyway. So if you want to join those, check. You can search it. You can find me. You can find them out on my YouTube channel and things like this. Of course, they're free, and Insight Timer's been good so far, but I don't know if it's going to be possible with me traveling and with the technical setups or technical hurdles that seem to be now in place. But who knows? Maybe it was just on my end. But anyway, be well. Much love and happy journeys. Bye-bye.